You know the old saying, it doesn't matter if you're hard or soft, it only matters if you finish? Let's just say we're gonna finish, but we're not even close to finishing. Let's just say this is the beginning of the finishing. If you know what I mean. What we see happening on these charts is actually quite large. I would dare even say it's quite big. In fact, we take a look on a monthly chart for Bitcoin. We're getting closer than ever to the touching of the tips of the RSI, followed by, a little bit later, the tip touch of the MACD, and that's all part of the journey to finishing. Soft, hard, it doesn't matter. As long as we finish. And let's just say the finish is going to be bigger than pretty much anyone could ever imagine. Okay? This is pretty much huge. And I don't know how to overstate that. I mean, like, I could sit here for the next 10 minutes and just keep saying big. It's going to be big. It's going to be big over and over. And it still wouldn't describe how big it's about to be. Do you understand this? Let's jump into this because actually there's a lot of things to be looking at. Now the space is getting stirred up a little bit. Now people are, they have things to talk about. We didn't have much to talk about when we're trading sideways for a couple months, but now we're getting some signals, and let's just say these signals, again, I don't like to say this word, but I'm gonna have to say it. Why? Because it's true, and I'm not gonna lie to the audience. It's big. Jim Cramer as well, saying that he's selling all his Bitcoin. What happens next? Bitcoin has surged about 30% from about the mid-60s, low 60s to about 80,000. This is huge. But not everybody is bullish. In fact, Rect Fencer is saying this chart speaks for itself, and he drew a bunch of scary squigglies going down. And in fact, after seeing this chart, I'm a little bit scared. I'm a little bit shaking in my boots even. Let's just say I'm squealing. I'm a little bit spooked. I mean, this chart is scary, There's lines going down. And let's just say I'm a crypto guy. It's not like I'm incredibly intelligent. If I see a line going down, I get spooked. If I see a line going up, let's just say I get hard. So the Coinbase Bitcoin Premium could turn positive anytime soon. This is a big bullish signal for Bitcoin. Ted, who I respect actually that he's doing this. Ted has been notoriously bearish. But the only thing that I care about when it comes to other influencers or other people in this space is if they see new data, if they see something change and they change their bias, right? Because that's the whole point. People love to comment. I've seen this post on so many people's tweets in the last day of basically, I've seen this for the last 10 years, but people will say things like, so you're saying it could go up or down? LOL, smiley face. It's like, yes, you can make fun of this space. One, because this space is kind of dumb. Crypto influencers like myself, it's like the dumbest job on the planet. Nobody's more intelligent. I think it's so silly. I don't know how people take themselves so seriously when they're just looking at charts in their bedrooms. But anyway, it's a cool space. I like it. There's a lot of money to be made. And I think it's cool when people can be like, hey, you know what? The direction looks like it's changing. I'm going to change my bias. So I have respect for that. And now he's basically saying this is getting bullish. And as well, he also points out that Michael Saylor has sold the bottom again, actually, which is a bullish signal. Michael Saylor is worth billions of dollars. His company strategy is worth billions of dollars, even though he's down like billions on his Bitcoin, or maybe he's like break even now actually because of this pump. Either way, Michael Saylor is, he doesn't have the track record of being the best investor. I mean, think back to 2000. I mean, I'm also not trying to insult him, but like at the same time, nobody really knows anything. Even whales, even people worth billions of dollars. That's what's funny about this space. People that are worth billions know the same amount as some guy in his bedroom with $50 in the market and hands full of lunch meats and Doritos. We're all in the same boat. We also see Bitcoin will dump again if you bought before the pump. Well done. Hold or take profit. If you bought on this pump, you're exit liquidity. So, and the first comment is a clown emoji. What is his response here? Like it doesn't matter, but okay. So, but anyway, yeah. I mean, if we actually look at a daily chart for Bitcoin, look at this. Look at this RSI and MACD. This RSI is like crazy overbought, right? In the short term. So it wouldn't be crazy to expect it to equalize in the next couple trading sessions, go back down a little bit, right? We've just had 1, 2, 3, 4, like 3 massive, in just the last 3 days, we've gone up 20 something percent. So in the short term, yeah, we could get some sort of pullback. Who cares? In the medium to long term, this thing is just getting started. And luckily what that means for you is if you don't have a long position, likely in the short term, you might be gifted an opportunity to get long again. Now, a lot of people are talking about this potentially being a bull trap, as they always are, but let's actually continue on talking about that. So Flood's saying that he has a prediction the U.S. government will announce a $100 billion purchase program of Bitcoin and a nationalization of MicroStrategy or strategy within the next 2 years. I mean, that's actually not even that close. 2 years, 24 months. I mean, who cares? 2 freaking years? All right. Bitcoin would go straight to $250,000 with no pullbacks, Chase says. Everyone will pretend their vague post was a bottom call. Michael Saylor will post 3 AI clips per day. Welcome to hell. Yeah, that's another funny thing. Sometimes the dumping can be more fun than the pumping, although that's not true. Making money is always better than not making money. But the memes are sometimes better when things are getting dumped on. And the memes are kind of obnoxious when we're pumping. They're kind of just, But absolutely historic. Bitcoin is moving 140 times faster than the stock market, surging over 20% in the last 5 days, rising from about mid to low 60s to basically 80K. It's going up a lot. As well, I did want to highlight, if you are interested in trading, you can get signed up with Phemex, Bybit, or Bitunix below. A lot of great welcome bonuses, up to about 30,000 on Phemex. A lot of great, if you just want to buy spot, if you want to trade, whatever it is, you can sign up below. It takes a minute. Just email, create an account. Again, I personally think, as I just said, on the daily, we're probably going to get some sort of pullback. My initial guess would be like maybe not a crazy pullback down to the lows we were just at. Let me actually go to the chart. Maybe not down to this range right here where we have just spent so much time, but maybe back down to I would think at the very least down to the 200-day moving average, right at about 69 thousand, or right about 70K. Which would be, a $5,000 to $10,000 dump, depending on where we are when it happens. At the highs of the last 12 hours, it would be about a $10,000 dump if we moved down there, because we touched on like 80. So that's pretty large, quite large, in fact. But as well, Will saying, if you have more than about a third of a Bitcoin, you have more than it is physically possible for every millionaire on earth to own. And this is a thing, like, if you have a fraction of, like, let's say you have half of a Bitcoin or a third of a Bitcoin, again, in the future, looking 10 years from now, that's going to be, like, in my opinion, extremely valuable, extremely rare. I don't think I will ever sell all my Bitcoin. I could be 100 years old, laying in my deathbed with my machines for breathing and maybe some pleasure machines as well, whatever exists by that time, probably some pretty cool stuff, actually. And I'll still be holding on to my Bitcoin, right? Maybe I'll have some kids and I'll give some to them. And, that's ideally, I don't want to just, like, let it go nowhere, but I think always holding some of it, because hey, you never know. What if hyper Bitcoinization does happen, which is not the base case in my opinion. Maybe, it could be, but what if it does happen? Then you're going to be squealing at the thought of selling everything. Why not just keep a little bit? If you have some, why just not always keep a little bit? I always think it's funny when people have investments in like anything, and if they just sell, especially when things they used to have high conviction in, and then they eventually sell all of it. Why? Why not just keep like 1 or 2%? Why sell everything? To me, that's like a big investing mistake that I never understood. Right? If you sell 98% of it at profit, you can make a lot of money. Why not just keep 1 or 2%? I don't see the reason why you wouldn't. But Bitcoin has reached the macro triangle downtrend, Rec Capital says. Technically, Bitcoin is still experiencing macro lower highs and would need to break the macro downtrend to enter a new macro uptrend. Basically, we're right at the cusp of something big. And yes, Bitcoin has pumped in the last 3 days, but the timeline is still quite quiet. You can tell a lot of people are sidelined. First comment, bro, I'm sidelined. A lot of people are sidelined. A lot of people are waiting for October to buy. Could we get that low in October? I guess. I think it would be pretty dumb, because like, why would that happen? Everybody in the world is screaming, this is when to buy, and that's when everyone buys. I feel like that doesn't really happen, but maybe it will. I don't know. Sounds kind of stupid, though. And, weekly chart. That's a nice looking weekly candle. Holy crap. That is a gargantuan weekly candle. And one scenario is that we actually do something similar like we did back here in October, or maybe not exactly like October, maybe actually in January of 2024, or actually even in October of 2023, or even actually leaving the bear market bottom back at the beginning of 2023, where we traded sideways for a lot after a big dump. Actually, looking at this right now, this looks pretty, let me actually get this out. This looks, if anything, let me change the color on here because we don't do red, we do green. There we go. But yeah, like this was the bottom of 2023. You have all these dumps similar to like what we're seeing now, all these dumps. And then you have this first big pump out of it, just like this is the 2023 candle. This is now, you put this on top. Yeah, I mean, that's like a reversal candle, especially after this elevator down sideways or elevator down price action. And especially after this like multiple weeks, multiple months of sideways. And then you get that big pop. Historically, that's how we left the last bear market and switched into a bull market. A lot of people are in disbelief right now, and a lot of people are sidelined, and that is exactly how it has always happened for these switcheroos. So, how do I say this? Things are really heating up, things are getting exciting, and things are getting big, but I have a feeling they're going to get bigger, and that's where things get big. I guess is what you could say. Extremely big. But yeah, get signed up with Phemex, Bitunix, Bybit, whatever you want to trade on. Any of those platforms are pretty good. Great, actually. A lot of good sign-up deposit bonuses. Takes a minute to sign up. And, man, this is just that moment you wait for. So I guess I'm not going to really waste any more time. But truly, it is something that this is one of my favorite parts of being actually, it is like my favorite part of being invested in crypto is going from absolute despair, absolute pessimism, and everyone hates something, to then, 6 months from now, you could have your cousins calling you, your uncles, your aunts, your mom and dad, anyone, your friends, they calling you being like, oh my gosh, I should have got in. Should I buy in now? And to be honest, that's a type of communication, a type of phone call, a type of text that I've grown to hate, because it's like, dude, when nobody liked it, that's when you should be doing research and getting positions in. Don't do it when you see these big pops. Luckily, again, you're still, in my opinion, still so early in this that like if you fast forward 6 to 8, 10, 12 months and we look something like this, obviously buying in here is not going to look bad, especially, on like a pullback or whatever. Like, luckily, but again, unfortunately, a lot of people are still not paying attention. A lot of people that don't like crypto aren't going to start buying in and aren't going to start paying attention until maybe like 6 months from now, when Bitcoin's above 150K and altcoins actually get closer to breaking even, or maybe do break even or something, right? Actually, that's something I want to look at really briefly is the entire altcoin market cap. We're not actually that far, a couple, give it a nice 30% pump or so, and we could be at all-time highs for a lot of these altcoins, or the entire crypto market cap at least. A lot of altcoins are absolutely decimated, but we could see those pump as well. We could see something big happen with that. That's big.